लापता लेडीज ऑल इंडिया रैंक मई दिसंबर द जोन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट और अब ये डून पार्ट 2 कुछ ज्यादा ही ऑसम वीकेंड एट द मूवीज नो Hey all, my name is Sucharita. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about movies, we bring to you people who make movies, and we travel to international film festivals. Today, let's take a look at Denis Villeneuve's Dune 2, now in movie theaters. It's been 2.5 years since the first Dune movie came out. So for many viewers like me who had no idea what the book was about, blind चले तो गए थे हम, पर 2 viewings and hours of background reading लगी contextualize करने में टिमोथी शालामे के घुंघराले बालों के अलावा बाकी की कहानी क्या है. For this second one, not only will you need to re-watch the first movie, but you would also need to थोड़ा सा scrutinize and sort of read up a little bit extra on author Frank Herbert. I would recommend it. Only enhance your experience. I'm not saying that you have to go to the extent of getting the books and reading them before this film, though that's something that would also be great. But the books have been discussed, dissected, analyzed, academic papers have been written about them, so there's enough material to really get into. I found myself going down a rabbit hole learning more about Frank Herbert, the jobs he held before he became an author and after, when he retired, where he retired, who were the people around him, what were his inspirations behind the books that he wrote. In the year 10,191, amidst the shifting sands of Arrakis begins Dune 2, a tale of power, prophecy, and the human spirit. Florence Pugh's haunting voice echoes as she dictates the goings-on of her day to an imperial diary machinery thing situation. I cringe at unexplained voiceovers in most movies, but at least exposition device की कुछ तो यहाँ justification है कि राजकुमारी इरुलान journaling कर रही हैं. Power over spice is power over all is still the guiding force across the Imperium. Christopher Walken as Emperor is little उदास कि ड्यूक लेटो मारा गया, लेकिन he's also a little bit like meh.
We believe in Fremen.
Let me fight beside you.
On Arrakis, exiled Paul Atreides and his mother, Lady Jessica, join a group of Fremen, the people native to Arrakis, जिनके lands छिन गए हैं spice production के चलते. Spice, if you don't know, isn't actually garam masala या धनिया powder. It's the substance the emperor sends his people to harvest from the desert, which is then used for intergalactic travel. No spice, no travel. Also, spice melange will literally give you hallucinations, so it's also fun. तो ये वो दालचीनी या काली मिर्च का मेटाफोर भी हो सकता है जिसके लिए अंग्रेजों ने दुनिया के हर देश पे चढ़ाइयां कर दी थी, और ये उस ऑफशोर ऑयल ड्रिलिंग का भी मेटाफोर हो सकता है जो एक कॉज था जिसके लिए फ्रैंक हर्बर्ट खुद सपोर्ट में थे बैक इन द डे. पॉल अट्रीडस स्लोली इज रियलाइजिंग कि फ्रेमन के साथ मिलकर इस स्पाइस हार्वेस्टिंग को रोकना चाहिए क्योंकि जो उसके लोगों ने इस प्लैनेट के साथ किया था वो सही तो नहीं किया था. कॉलोनाइजर्स आर बैड पीपल आफ्टर ऑल. इस चक्कर में चानी, अ फ्रेमन वॉरियर or Fedaykin, which is a term inspired from the Arab word Fedayin, is impressed and she agrees to be his main squeeze. लेकिन पॉल और मम्मी जेसिका दोनों के अलग-अलग आइडियाज हैं कि कैसे एक हाथ से दयावान और दूसरे हाथ से शक्तिमान बने रहे. अंदर ही अंदर both of them are planning nefarious things. Now, I've not read the books, but having read about them, I know that the white savior trope is a concept that the books struggle with. The author himself went on to write about the corrupting influence of too much power consolidated with one person, regime, king, or politician. Denis Villeneuve's Dune 2 treads carefully. While some Fremen believe in the Bene Gesserit story of a Mahdi, a Lisan al-Ghaib, a Muad'Dib, the Messiah who will take them to paradise, who just happens to be this white man, a strong faction of Fremen, जिसमें चानी शामिल है, believe that कि तुम इनकी बात सुनोगे तो इनके slave बन जाओगे. The colonizers should not be allowed to lead at all. So the power structures keep shifting in this film, passed on from character to character. Stilgar, Jessica, Paul, the Emperor, Reverend Mother, and the new entrant, Feyd-Rautha Harkonnen, played by the most beautiful Austin Butler. Denis Villeneuve and co-writer Jon Spaihts keep it all flowing in a screenplay that is as dexterous as it is vast. The film is almost 3 hours long, but if your bladder is empty and if you have a small, inobtrusive snack handy, the runtime is no bother. And listen, I am fully with you on the spectacle of it. The sets, props, makeup, they're all incredible. I am obsessed with Rebecca Ferguson's maternity wardrobe in this film. Like that face covering chain situation she's got going on. And the lament-like wailing background sound that rings through the desert every time something dramatic happens to signal कि drama हो गया है. It's really very nice. Now, if you're looking for scale and grandeur, it doesn't get bigger than Dune 2. However, and I'm sorry there is a however, but there is. If you're looking for a film that has strong convictions and something it believes in beyond being the biggest film it can be, Dune comes up short. The film is unsure whether Paul is a savior or a genocidal maniac. Where is the line? And what does it take for people in power to even see that line? In many spice-induced hallucinations, Paul Atreides sees what he thinks are premonitions and he's like, मैंने साउथ में नहीं जाना है, मैं गया तो दंगे हो जाएंगे, billions of people I can see will die. But बंदा करता क्या eventually? जाता है साउथ में. Paul also wants to be just, fair, equal. But can a man who comes from a family of dukes really be one with the people he claims to care about? And to reiterate, these are not issues with the film, right? The change of heart, the unpredictable course Paul's life takes, it's at the core of the books the movie is adapted from. To the movie's credit, Paul's character from the very start has been building towards this change. When the small physical frame of Timothée Chalamet will have to become believable as the Emperor, as the Mahdi, the actor is absolutely incredible. Every time he looks sideways at Zendaya with mischief in his eyes, or he walks up onto a cliff, which is something he seems to do a lot of, he cuts such an impressive figure. You're increasingly conflicted कि इससे मैं प्यार करूं या घृणा. Same conflict Zendaya के दिमाग में भी चालू है. And theater से निकल के, as I was walking back home, movie देखने के बाद, like one character always stays with you, right? And for me, it was मेरे को बड़े होके चानी बनना है. Zendaya of the desert is an elevated creature, a being of pure power. Her strength only matched with the intensity of her unwavering blue gaze. And now, I must talk about Austin Butler. Beautiful, talented, deep voice wala Austin, who plays Fade Rauta and is fondly called psychotic by Rajkumari Irulan, which pretty much is all it is. Austin Butler has a lion-like gait. He's tall, a fine specimen of a human being. But his Fade Rauta is created to be that character कि मतलब उसके आगे पीछे के सीन्स में अगर कोई चाकू लेकर आता है प्लेट पर कि हुजूर ये सबसे तेज धार वाला खंजर है, तो ये बेहद नासूर इंसान सामने वाले के ही पेट में खंजर उतार देगा टेस्ट करने के लिए कि कितना शार्प है. You know ना, the kind of characters you see in frankly badly written Bollywood films who only exist for the shock value their evilness brings. Means you've seen this trope and stereotype play out so much, it's lost all meaning. Oh no, he's ganja, he has no eyebrows, excessively pale skin, and he darts his tongue in and out like a snake for no apparent reason. तो ये बंदा खूंखार है. Voldemort could never. So what happens when your villain is so basic and predictable, especially after the first one, जिसमें freaking Stellan Skarsgård as Vladimir Harkonnen जब पहली बार Duke Leto के मर्डर के बाद ऐसे उड़ने लगता है या उस टाइम के around, and then he takes the samadhi in a tub of petroleum-like substance, you're like, yep, this is going to fuel my nightmares for at least 7 days. So when you have a Fade Rauta, and a long time is spent away from Paul Atreides, focusing on this cartoonish villain who says things like, kiss my shoe. So then the entire enterprise, by which I mean this big budget Hollywood sci-fi movie, begins to look sillier than it already is. Also, Dave Bautista screaming unintelligent garbage in each scene gets old real fast.
You young pup.
Having said that, Dune 2 is not silly like blockbuster superhero films have been. The smart one-liners, if any, are limited to Javier Bardem, and he too is never really frivolous. In fact, through him, the film explores the trappings of blind faith that doesn't question. There is no Tony Stark here, saving the world and talking about eating a shawarma right after. There is no winky winky. It's almost like, to be as different from a blockbuster franchise as can be, Denis Villeneuve's trying to keep the dialogue like deliberately challenging, the goings-on just a little bit more complex than the stuff Thor has had to deal with in Ragnarok. This is very much cinema for the adults, adapted from material written by a man who knew the world very closely and thought about its politics deeply. The movie though, as astonishing it is to look at, for the most part, is emotionally empty. Now, even after this long review, I want to end with saying that overall, I quite enjoyed the film. I had a good time. Having just watched the previous part, this one seamlessly took the story forward. I might even watch it again to get the full IMAX experience or 4DX even. Like, I want those vibrating seats. क्योंकि sandworm पर ये लोग सब चढ़ तो गए, लेकिन उसपे से उतरते कैसे ये नहीं पता चला. The closest I assume one can get to finding out is by having their world rocked quite literally in a movie theater. In my eyes, it's still a tale of illegal settlers who will get their comeuppance one day. It remains to be seen कि आगे के sequels में कहानी जाती कहाँ है. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, Dune the second is 1 scene Anna Taylor-Joy appears in means 1. रेड कार्पेट पे तो ऐसे फुल फोर्स में. बट कोई ना, मूवी से पहले वी ऑल्सो गॉट अ फुल फ्लेजेड ट्रेलर ऑफ फ्यूरियोसा, अ मैड मैक्स सागा, व्हिच फ्रैंकली ऑल्सो लुक्स अमेजिंग. पर कुछ 2.5-3 महीने में वो भी आ जाएगी. तब तक चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करके बाकी रिव्यूज और इंटरव्यूज देखते रहे यहाँ पर. आई कैन प्रॉमिस यू इतना अभी राइट नाउ that I've got some super fun Hollywood interviews coming up right here on this channel. So go subscribe and watch. My name is Sucharita. Thank you for stopping by.